Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, why the key to being less stressed might be taking on debt.
Also, the Cleveland Guardians are trying to do what no team has done before.
All that and more on the way next. Allie's team is trying to do the impossible. 8772 RadioU. And by the way, it's making me really nervous. In the MLB, Allie, you're a Cleveland Guardians fan. Do you think you're a bigger Guardians fan than any other team?
No, I would say I'm probably equally. My two biggest teams that I support are probably the Guardians and the Buckeyes. But I do feel like, as far as like a sport that I absolutely love to follow all of the teams in, actually, I think college football and baseball are probably pretty equal for me too. So, but I like to follow not just the Guardians, but all of baseball.
Your Guardians are trying to do something that has never been done before. They are trying to come back and win a division after being down 15 and a half games.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
Very specific, but that is a record. If they're able to come back and somehow beat and surpass the Detroit Tigers, that would be a record set in Major League Baseball for, being down by that amount of games to come back and win a division. It's never been done with that distance.
Now, here's why it's making me nervous. It's not just, obviously, I don't have any attachment to the Tigers. In fact, I kind of don't want them in the playoffs just because I think they're boring. I think they're a boring team.
Okay.
But the Guardians are only 3.5 games behind the Tigers to take the lead in the division. But the Guardians are only a game and a half my Red Sox for the last wild card spot. So you making the playoffs could come at my expense. And so I'm getting particularly nervous. The good news is you have some games against the Tigers.
Yes.
Right? Still left.
3 more games starting next Tuesday, I think.
And so if you just go ahead and just sweep them again like you just did to get in this position, that would actually be helpful to both of us. Because then,
but what
the
about
Red Sox don't just, if the Red Sox can win a few games, they can just skate right past the Tigers too.
I was going to say, well, you got to be worried about the Tigers because whoever ends up not winning the Central Division, like getting second place, they could still knock out Boston, but we'll see what happens.
But if the Tigers are getting swept, I mean, the Red Sox aren't going to get swept, right?
But I would hope not, but the Red Sox
they're only 2 games behind the Tigers, so we should be fine, but I am nervous.
Okay, yeah. I know you were nervous. I could tell you were nervous yesterday because suddenly you started bringing up tiebreakers, and I was like, no one looks up tiebreakers unless they start getting nervous.
Well, the Red Sox...
which, by the way, Cleveland has the tiebreaker over Detroit. Detroit's only beaten Cleveland once this season.
Yeah. How is that possible? And they were so far ahead. The real thing, even if Detroit still makes the playoffs, it's kind of a spectacular collapse on their part.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people didn't really truly believe that the Tigers were for real in the first place, even though they do have possibly the best pitcher in all of baseball right now.
Yeah, I think he definitely...
Tarek Skubal.
He looked good yesterday. He had 9 strikeouts, only gave up 1 run, a home run to John Kenzie Noel, big Christmas. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to keep the Guardians from sweeping. That's
the problem. They routinely, particularly with Skubal on the mound, do not score. The Tigers do not score any runs.
Yep.
And so you can have a great pitcher that only allows a run or 2 a game, but if you only score a run or 2 a game, it's kind of going to waste.
Yeah.
And that's what the Tigers are going through. And honestly, for the Red Sox, my Red Sox is what they're going through as well. They have some injuries on offense, and so they're not able to put a lot of points on the board. And or runs on the board, I guess. And so it's costing us dearly.
Who do they play this weekend?
The Red Sox are starting a series against the Rays.
Okay.
On the road.
Okay.
And we are hoping to get Wheelie Abreu back in the lineup for some kind of offensive impact, but he didn't travel with the team, so I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I can tell you are.
We do have Garrett Crochet, who's the other best pitcher.
Yeah, I want him to win the Cy Young because that was my bold prediction.
Yeah. Even you didn't. Did you boldly predict the Guardians would come back from 15 and a half games?
That was the other prediction I gave, was that they'd make the playoffs.
And we made fun of you for it. because it was silly. We got some more exciting news from the DC universe. Talking comics, not politics. That's its own universe.
We're not talking about that, DC.
8772 Radio U. We already talked, I think it was just yesterday, about how Vince D'Onofrio says that he wants to play the Swamp Thing whenever that movie finally gets around to being made in the DC universe. But now, something that's a little more imminent, news about the Batman Part 2, which is definitely getting made and is actually supposed to go into production next year. So we're getting there. And while we still don't have a ton of details, it was just revealed that in the Batman Part 2, this is a quote, it will feature villains that have never really been done in a movie before.
Wow. Yeah, that was a quote from Matt Reeves while he was attending the Emmys because of his show, The Penguin, which got nominated for a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, Matt, he's kept it pretty close to his chest as far as like the details of this movie, which I'm okay with. I don't need any spoilers. I don't need any details. All we know is that the script is done. Robert Pattinson, who plays Batman, has read it. But there has been a lot of fan theories since this quote has come out as far as who's he talking about.
Yeah, I like that he's even making this a mystery. Not that like revealing who the villain would be would spoil anything, but it's just fun that we get to speculate and guess.
Right.
And so I was trying to rack my brain of like who are some of the higher profile villains that were either in the comics or that I saw in cartoons when I was growing up that haven't made it into the movies yet. And one of the top ones I thought of, but I feel like I keep seeing stuff about this character, so they must be showing up somewhere else, and that's Clayface.
Yeah, I think Clayface is going to be in James Gunn DCU stuff.
Right.
Coming up.
I knew I've seen stuff about that, so I felt like that wasn't in this situation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like either a Clayface show or a movie that has Clayface in it, maybe as the main character. I'm not sure. But I have heard that.
Yeah, but he was cool in the whatever Batman shows I watched growing up. I don't even remember now.
I think he's like in the Batman animated series and some of those shows, which I love too. And those definitely show you pretty much all of Batman's rogues gallery.
Yeah, they had to make a lot of episodes.
Yeah. And but yeah, there's been a lot of Batman movies, so a lot of villains have already made it into these movies, sometimes multiple iterations of them. We've seen multiple versions of the Joker, multiple versions of the Riddler, and Penguin and all of these other characters. So it looks like the top theories right now are Hush and the Court of Owls, because another detail Matt shared is that whoever these villains are, they have ties to Bruce Wayne's past, and both of those characters and the group of characters do, especially the Court of Owls. And so I think Matt Reeves, he based the first Batman movie off of a whole comic book run called The Long Halloween, which is where Batman tries to solve basically a string of murders over a year, one Halloween to the next Halloween. So I think he's going to probably choose something similar to that, where it's a long run of comics that tell a full story.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who Hush is. That's not somebody familiar to me at all.
He's a newer DC villain, but I think Court of Owls has a lot of interesting comic book series, so that's going to be my guess.
And I was also looking through a list of people that have not, or villains that have not been featured in Batman movies yet. And a lot of them are more, just more comic booky.
Yeah.
Where like, I think that they want to keep, obviously the Batman's not really realistic.
Yeah.
But this version of the Batman of more like a grounded in reality, the first one was very much that way.
Yes.
And so if you're having Clayface as an example, that's a very out there villain versus somebody who's just another kind of normal guy like the Riddler was in and obviously the Penguin are just, they don't have powers or anything.
No.
They're not trying to do villains with powers. They're trying to do, kind of gangster mob, sinister planning, psychological villains.
Yeah, which leads more to probably Hush being the choice there. So, but yeah, I think that's a good guess. We're going to see a very similar tone to what we got with Matt Reeves' first Batman.
And then one other name to throw out there is, although this would be confusing, is Dr. Hugo Strange.
Oh, yes.
Because apparently he also is one of the names that people are talking about a lot. But how can they even get away with having Dr. Hugo Strange in the DC universe and Doctor Strange in the Marvel universe?
You won't believe how many similar names go across Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't go in that direction. How much debt is too much? Apparently, there's no such thing.
Oh.
8772 Radio U. At least as far as stress goes, you might think that having a lot of debt would stress you out. But J.G. Wentworth, now that song's going to be stuck in your head.
Call 877. No, again.
J.G. Wentworth has conducted a study where they found that people with over $500,000 in debt, okay?
Whew.
That's $500,000.
Yeah.
Have lower stress levels than those with $3,000 to $5,000 worth of debt.
That's crazy.
How does that make sense?
That doesn't add up, but also
I think I have less than $5,000 of debt. I'm stressed just thinking about ever having $500,000 of debt.
I know. Being that amount in debt would scare the living daylights out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? I just can't even wrap my mind around having that amount of money and being in debt by that amount of money.
I think what it must be is that at some point they kind of say this, you've experienced debt numbness.
Okay.
What they found in this study is that your stress related to your debt peaks at about $100,000. Once you get over $100,000, the more debt you have, the less stressed you are.
Why?
So basically, if you're stressed about your debt, you should just keep
get
racking up more. And finally, the stress will slowly roll away.
Can we add another category to this survey where we talk to people that aren't in debt? Mm-hmm. Maybe see their stress levels.
Yeah.
And add that into the equation.
That's a good idea. What they also found that seems a bit counterintuitive to me, I don't know. I can see why this makes sense. I also can see why it doesn't. That the younger you are, the more likely you are to feel stress about your debt, whereas, or the less likely you are, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So the older you get, and if you're still in debt, you're going to be more stressed about it.
I think that makes sense because I think when you're young, it's like expected to be in debt now.
True,
because
yeah.
you probably went to college, so you probably have student loans that you're paying off, and you're more likely to have not, figured out your life. Maybe you don't have a high paying salary just yet. Mm-hmm. But when you're older, everyone assumes that you have life figured out, and so you should not be like massively in debt. Mm-hmm. I think that's the assumption at least, but for the reality is most Americans are in debt.
Right.
So it's actually harder and harder to find people that aren't in debt.
This is why, like, what you said makes sense, but my flip side is, as I've been young and in debt early, I'm thinking, what if I never get out of debt?
Oh, that's a scary thought. I
know.
don't like that
what if
thought.
I live my entire life in debt? And that's, and then, but this has kind of put me at ease though, because then it's just like, just keep getting more debt.
No.
But I also wonder, like, when you get to, first of all, if you get to like $500,000 in debt, like it's saying here, like they can call it debt numbness. It really, in a way, wouldn't feel real, right? If you're still able to, if you're $500,000 in debt and somehow like you're still a free person, you know what I mean? Like, you're still able to live your life.
Are they counting like mortgage? Like, are they counting that?
I think they must be, because they're talking about stuff like credit cards and auto loans, which, like, obviously that's debt, but you're still like, it's like
acceptable debt.
Right.
Right. We're used to it and we accept it as normal for you to have to take a loan out to get a car or have to take a loan out to get a house, because that's really the only way you could afford a house in 2025.
Yeah.
Because who's paying cash for a house today, unless you're extremely blessed or buying an extremely bad house.
Right. That's a fixer-upper.
Right. So I think that maybe we need to add that in to our perspective on like being $500,000 in debt. Mm-hmm. That might include a very large mortgage.
Well, you think about it, you can only get to $500,000 in debt if somebody's willing to loan
offer you the money.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Right.
So I guess that does actually make sense. So and like some people say, there's good kinds of debt where like it's not good to owe money, but at the same time, like there's expenses you have to take on, whether for a business or for owning a house or for whatever it is, that are just like realistically, you just have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think mortgages definitely make sense because you're paying now towards equity, so it's good for your future. Whereas, like, for me with rent, I'm just throwing that money away every single month.
Yeah, but man, I hope I can. I guess you know what? I hope I can be $500,000 in debt one day based off of this. Welcome to the weekend. It's a Friday fun day. Friday really is like the best day of the week, especially this time of year because you have so much football ahead of you.
I know.
And
it's so exciting.
With that being the case, we get to make our football picks. Allie, are you ready?
I think so.
We've got 4 games on the schedule, 2 college, 2 NFL, and then we each pick an upset as well. Let's get started.
Texas Tech at Utah.
Give me the Utes. I want the Utes. They're at home, and I do think they might win the Big 12 this year, so I'm going Utah.
Yeah, actually agreement. I think Utah, they're at home, and that's a big home field advantage.
It absolutely is. It's a hard place to play.
One bad year from Utah where their quarterbacks were injured and bad the entire year makes you forget how good Utah normally always is with Kyle Whittingham at coach too. So give me Utah. Next up,
Illinois at Indiana.
I'm going Illinois. I believe in the Fighting Illini this year.
I just have to pick a home team. It's so hard for me to pick teams on the road, so Indiana it is for me. Let's move to the NFL.
Rams at Eagles.
I'm going Eagles.
What's your reasoning? Anything?
I just think that they are, again, one of the best teams in the NFL right now. I believe that they're making it back to the Super Bowl, as I shared with my picks. And I think there's a chance they could be undefeated going into their game with the Packers.
I'll take the Rams. The Rams have played very well under the radar, and the Eagles have struggled a little bit. And here's a key. There's all the controversy about the tush push last week, right?
Yes.
Where now all of a sudden everybody wants it banned, even though in the offseason I was called a fool for wanting it banned.
Not by me, by the way.
The NFL apparently has instructed their referees to keep a particular eye out for false starts on the tush push. The Eagles might try to run that and get penalized for it with the false starts. So that would be a big swing. So give me the Rams. And then we're doing the Monday night game.
Lions at Ravens.
I'm going Ravens.
I'm actually going Ravens too.
All right.
I don't have strong feeling. That was the hardest one for me to make up my mind. Finally, let's do it. Let's do what may very well be the tiebreaker this week.
Upset special.
All right. My upset is absolutely unhinged this week. I shared this with you. This is a road team that is not favored to win, obviously. And I think the team that is the home team, they're favored to win by 12.5 currently. It's a big upset. Big upset over here. This is so silly, but I'm picking Tulane to beat Ole Miss.
Oh, wow.
The 2 3-0 teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge believer in Ole Miss, even though this is a home game for them, and Oxford's not an easy place to play in.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, I just have a weird feeling about this game. So even as unhinged as it sounds, I'm picking Tulane.
Ole Miss does have a history of last year they lost to Kentucky at home.
I think they're just going to be caught looking ahead. They've got some big games on the schedule, so I'm hoping Tulane pulls off the upset.
Okay, my upset is North Carolina over Central Florida.
Oh.
Which, by the way, apparently they hate being called Central Florida. I didn't know that.
They just want to be UCF?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Bill Belichick made the mistake of calling them Central, and so that's supposed to be some motivation. But I'm sorry, they are 2-0, but you're still a team that sucks, so I don't care how motivated you are. UNC has hardly allowed any points since that fateful TCU game.
Since they allowed like 50.
Against teams that are much closer to UCF than they are to TCU. So I think they can hold the UCF offense down, and I just trust Bill Belichick more than the UCF coach, Scott Frost.
Yeah. Is UCF on the road or?
It's in Florida. It's in Orlando.
Okay, so North Carolina's on the road.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We haven't revealed the punishment for whoever loses this week.
Yes. This was my idea, and I think it'd be really funny if we did this. And that is whoever loses has to do an impression of the other person.
You realize that this may very well be a punishment for us both.
Oh.
You doing an impression of me could also be punishment for me.
Well, I was going to say, it kind of always is that way.
Yeah.
It's a punishment for us. It's a punishment for those listening. I mean, we all had to hear you sing Gaston, so...
Yeah, that was bad.
No, it actually was hilarious, but... Yeah, I think this would be a fun one.
All right. Text in your picks to 877-2-RADIO-U. Actually, text in punishment ideas, too.
Yeah.
Because we could use some of those. I have a few other games that we're not picking, but I want your thoughts on.
Okay.
We just gave our official picks for some of the big games in college and NFL this weekend, and whoever loses is going to have to do an impression of the other on the air. That's going to be rough for everybody, I think. But I wanted to get your thoughts because it's a low-key interesting week for college football.
Yeah.
Where there's not like the necessarily marquee matchup, like two top 10 teams, but there's kind of like a bunch of matchups where teams can show that they're actually maybe a serious playoff contender or play themselves out of it a bit. I think Utah, Texas Tech, which we picked, is one of those games. But another game that I think is really interesting is Michigan against Nebraska.
Definitely.
Michigan's on the road.
Michigan's on the road. They already have one loss. They lost to Oklahoma last week. And in parts of that game looked pretty overmatched by Oklahoma. And so I think Michigan really needs to prove themselves. But Nebraska is a very hungry team that wants to prove themselves. So this was honestly almost my upset pick. But I'm seeing different lines for this game where some people are favoring Nebraska because they're at home and some people are favoring Michigan, because, you know, Michigan's the ranked team. But I didn't ultimately pick that one because even if Nebraska wins, I don't feel like it's that big of an upset because I could really see this go
it's
either
like
way.
1.5 at most either way.
Right.
I still tend to trust Michigan, but you also have to remember their coach is suspended this week. It's no Sharon Moore. So
right.
Who knows how that'll affect things. Last week it didn't. They scored a bajillion points.
Right.
But whoever wins that, I think there's going to be a fourth team out of the Big Ten in the playoff, and it could be one of those two. Everybody's going to think Illinois or Indiana, but maybe Michigan or Nebraska.
Yeah, I think both of us picked Michigan being in our bracket, but definitely Nebraska. Don't sleep on them.
What about, you mentioned Oklahoma. They're at home against Auburn this week.
Yeah. I think Oklahoma's gonna get the win there.
I feel like Oklahoma's defense is for real. Like, you think that
it's
Michigan.
Brent Venables.
Yeah.
Come on.
But previous years, it's been absolute garbage with him. So I still don't know how, like right now, John Mateer, the quarterback for Oklahoma, is the Heisman favorite. He's not, still pretty long odds for Heisman favorite at this point, which means it's wide open, but he is the favorite. I don't necessarily buy that.
I don't either.
But I do think Oklahoma at home, that's going to be tough for Auburn to deal with. And then let's do one more, and that is South Carolina. Or no, let's do Florida and Miami, because Florida, they've lost two really big games, close.
Yep.
And now it's like, this is the end of Billy Napier, the coach of Florida. Meanwhile, everybody loves Miami. I'm hearing that it's like Ohio State 1, Miami 2. These are the two best teams. And I don't know if I buy that.
I don't know if I buy that entirely, but I will say I came into this season not believing in Carson Beck, and he has completely proven me wrong in what we've seen so far. There have been other quarterbacks I didn't believe in, and they've kind of followed with what I thought they were going to be, which with Arch Manning. But with Carson Beck, I've been nothing but impressed. And with Florida, they had 5 interceptions. Their quarterback threw 5 interceptions against LSU. And so if they continue to not throw the ball to the right team, I think there's no chance they're beating Miami.
Yeah, but their defense was nasty against LSU. They threw 5 interceptions, and it was still a close game.
Yeah, the defense
That's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the defense is the only thing that kept them in that game because they really tried to throw it away. So
I don't have the guts to make it my official upset pick, but I kind of feel like this is Florida's last stand, and all the hype on Miami. Maybe everybody loves them a little too much.
I mean, I think they proved themselves against USF last week. I think they're going to roll.
You know, I feel like a lot of people, when they think about God, they think about God is a big overarching thing where it's like, okay, I'm a Christian now. I believe in God, and God's got everything. And then you kind of just it's just God as an umbrella over my life. You know what I mean? And so he's got all the big stuff. But it doesn't really go any further than that. Here's what I've been thinking about, though. I feel like more of us need to think about letting God have the little things in our lives. We want God to have the big things, like, oh, no, I'm in debt. Oh, no, I'm going through a relationship breakup. Or, the big events.
Right.
But you don't think about him as much in the day-to-day.
Yeah, we come to him when the things are really, really bad, or maybe when they're really, really good. Sometimes we'll thank God, but usually it's when things are really, really bad when we turn to him.
Yeah, but I think this is something that everybody can think about is having God come into little spaces in your life. I don't know if I mean all the way down to like, what should I have for breakfast today? But there are ways, like I feel like we need to find ways to let God have some space in every single day. Because listen, God knows more than we do. Jesus has everything under control way more than we do. So don't just come to him when there's something big going on. Think about what's something in your life today that if you let Jesus into it, even if it doesn't feel like a major deal, it actually could make it better.
Yeah.
I think there's spaces for each of us every single day if we make a habit of that.
I saw somebody give an analogy for this one time, because we hear often where it's like, God should be the center of your life, at the center of everything. And he had a dresser in front of him, and he's like, so yeah, we look at this dresser with 3 drawers and we say, yeah, God should be the middle one, the one in the center. And he's like, no, that's not actually true. God should be the whole dresser. And all of the drawers are our different things, our job, our family, our hobbies, whatever. And God's involved in all of that. The little things, the big things, everything in between. And so he's the whole dresser. He's not just at the center. He's everything. And so, yeah, I think that's so important to remember. It's like, don't just give him the big things that trouble us. Give him every piece of you.
Yeah, you can never bother God too much. I think that's another thing where it's, it feels like a person of like, I don't want to text him all the time. I got to let him have some space. But like you do not have to worry about that with Jesus. He's not going to get tired of you. He's not going to ignore you. He is there for every big thing and small thing you need. And so take advantage of that. Say, hey, God, I want that. I've got this little thing. Maybe you could actually help with it. And then sure enough, you'll probably see that Jesus can. If you want to know more, start talking to him. Let him talk to you. And you can also go to radiou.com/free gift. Get your popcorn ready. It's our Friday tradition, the weekend watch list, letting you know which movies are new that you could be watching in theaters and at home this weekend. Buckle up. There's 4 movies that we have to get to. So let's go quick and not get stuck.
All right.
We'll start with him. Cameron Cade is a rising quarterback who suffers a potentially career-ending injury after being attacked by an unhinged fan. Just when all seems lost, Cam receives a lifeline when his hero, Isaiah White, offers to train him at an isolated compound. However, as the training accelerates, Isaiah's charisma turns into something darker, sending Cam down a disorienting rabbit hole that may cost him more than he's ever bargained for.
Why are you reading it like that?
Him is now in theaters. It has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's not good.
Nick Shager of the Daily Beast says, a B movie of unholy bombast and absurdity.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good, I have to say. Even from the trailers, I've been like, at first I was interested, but now I think this looks pretty bad.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of just know how it's going to go. Like, I feel like it's just predictable.
It's giving itself away.
I wish Jordan Peele was involved in something better.
Yeah.
But he didn't direct it. Maybe that, first of all, that doesn't sound very good. And you just want a break from all the football.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to see A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey starring Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie.
Oh.
Through a surprising twist of fate, single strangers Sarah and David get to relive important moments from their respective pasts, illuminating how they got to where they are in the present. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey is now in theaters. It has a 41% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, geesh. These movies are not getting well reviewed.
Yeah. Peter Howell of the Toronto Star says, if A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey sounds convoluted, that's because it is. But its biggest sin isn't its confusion, it's indifference. The film is so enamored with its own premise that it never notices the magic dissipating with every kilometer.
Whoa, what's a kilometer?
Kilometer.
Oh, okay.
Canadian. It's a Canadian paper.
Oh.
So that's why I said that, I guess. Yeah, I'm disappointed. I thought the idea of that movie looked really cool. Obviously a good cast, but apparently maybe not very good. Okay, let's go back to football. For The Senior, at age 59, Mike Flint may be too old to be on a college football field, but not too old to feel the weight of unfinished business. After nearly 4 decades, he returns to his alma mater to take the hit that changed everything. Bruised, doubted, and nearly broken. He pushes for one more game, not for glory, but for the teammates he lost, the family he fractured, and the ending he still believes is possible.
All right.
The Senior is now in theaters. It has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa!
Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter says, the familiar beats are hammered so skillfully you don't mind the manipulation. And although you may be shocked to learn that the film takes some liberties with the truth, they're not so egregious as to diminish its overall impact.
That's pretty good. I like to hear that type of review.
Sounds like a feel-good movie.
It does.
If you want to put a smile on and watch some football. Finally, maybe you just don't want to leave home this weekend, but you do want to watch a new movie. How about Swiped? Whitney Wolfhard breaks into the male-dominated tech industry by launching 2 innovative dating apps, making her the world's youngest self-made female billionaire.
Yeah, she's the starter of Bumble, I think.
Yep. Swiped is now on Hulu and Disney+. It has a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh, it did look pretty mid when I saw the trailer.
Adam Graham of the Detroit News says, Swipe feels designed to passively have on in the background while flipping through on apps on your phone.
Oof, that's bad. That's a really bad review.
Swipe left, he says. Well done, Adam Graham. So that's all the new stuff. But, honestly, your best bet might be watching Superman on HBO Max this weekend.
Is it finally on HBO Max?
Yeah.
Yes, I can finally watch it.
But that's not the only thing that's new on streaming that's been in theaters. 28 Years Later is on Netflix, and Elio is on Disney+.
Boo. Yeah. Where's the boo sound? Don't watch it.
Yeah, do not watch Elio. I can't. If you missed my review of that,
it was bad.
In the RadioU podcast, go back and check it out before you waste any time with Elio. That's your weekend watch list. Send in your reviews at 8772-RADIO-U. We'll see you at the movies. On the menu today is Kroger's all-new Champion Chip Collection. They have, in honor of football season, 3 new flavors of chips. That these are actually Kroger, as in the grocery store, brand.
Yes.
They have buffalo wing, mozzarella sticks, and pigs in a blanket, and we will get to each of them in due course. They say on the back it says limited time offer.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Like, are they available for a limited time? Like, that's not an offer. What are they offering? I don't understand.
Interesting. I think that just probably means limited edition.
Yeah, why did they put it?
I don't know why they worded it like that.
Which one do you want to try?
Let's try the buffalo wing
I've already
first.
got it here. Which one are you looking forward to the most, though, before you actually start?
I'm very curious what the mozzarella stick is going to taste like.
You can go ahead and try. I was looking forward to the pigs in a blanket the most at first, but let's just say they do not smell good.
The buffalo one definitely has a kick to it. A little bit spicy.
I'm not sure that I like just the chip itself.
Why not?
I don't know. It has a weird texture to it.
Oh.
Like, it doesn't taste. It doesn't.
I didn't feel like it had a weird texture. It tastes like a chip to me.
I feel like it's a little grainier than I'm usually expecting with a potato chip.
I didn't notice that at all.
The flavor's okay.
Yeah, it's got a decent flavor.
It's not too wild.
It shows you, gives you buffalo.
I don't know. I guess I can get over the texture thing.
Yeah. It's just all right. It's not mind-blowing. It's just all right.
Yeah. And buffalo wing is definitely like, if we weren't doing this for the show and I was just seeing these on the shelf, I probably wouldn't even pick buffalo wings for a chip ever.
I mean, you're the hot dog guy, so.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, who doesn't love mozzarella sticks? I feel like we should do those next.
Yes, mozzarella sticks. This is the one I'm most interested to see what it's going to taste like. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and try one of these.
I think it should be noted that on the bag, at least, it does not feature anything as far as marinara sauce.
All of these are gluten-free, by the way.
I think all potato chips are gluten-free.
Really?
If there's gluten in your potato chips, something may be wrong.
I need to look that up. I didn't know that. Are all chips gluten-free?
Okay, these are good. I like this much, much more. Are they all gluten-free?
Yeah, they're not, but most that are made like this are.
Thank goodness.
Are you gluten-free? Can you not have gluten?
No, I can have gluten.
Oh, okay. That's why I thought you were.
But still.
Thank goodness.
I mean, if I can avoid it, It doesn't really matter. Okay. Now smell. I told you, smell these. We have the pigs in the blanket Kroger chips last. What do you think these smell like? Because it reminds me of something very specific.
I can't pinpoint. I feel like I've smelled something like this before, but I can't pinpoint what it is. But it's a strong smell.
It smells like cat food or dog food, like canned cat food or dog food.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
It does not smell appealing, although that's not going to stop me, and I really hope they taste better than they smell. But these are the only ones too that aren't rippled chips or wavy chips.
The flavor is strong, and I do feel like when you eat it, you do get more hot dog.
That is hot dog.
Yeah.
And I know hot dog.
You definitely do get more of the hot dog than from the smell. Because the smell was not hot dog at all.
No, it was cat food. But the taste, not bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible. But I think for me, my favorite was the mozzarella sticks. That's one that I think I could definitely get a bowl of and enjoy during a football game.
Yeah, I could house quite a bit of these pigs in a blanket and mozzarella sticks both.
Do a little mix and match.
Now, the sad thing is none of them, wouldn't it be crazy if any of them were better than the actual thing? As in, like, what if the pigs in a blanket chips were better than pigs in a blanket?
No way. And also, I don't think Kroger would expect that to be the case.
I mean, that would be lofty expectations. Yeah. But it would kind of be nice. So they're obviously not as good as the real thing, but definitely an easy way to have a lot of variety at your next game day get together. Is just to buy a bunch of these bags of chips.
Yeah.
And not have to cook anything.
Right.
I give these a thumbs up. I think Kroger did a pretty good job.
I agree.
Stop me when this sounds familiar. Scientists have discovered a new, potentially dangerous virus in bats.
Oh, no!
It's a disease that is related to two diseases that the World Health Organization categorizes as priority pathogens.
Okay.
This is starting to sound
too familiar.
Don't worry, this time it's in Australia.
Okay, well that's what we all said last time. Don't worry, it's not here in America. We're fine. We're safe. Haha.
This virus they're calling the Salt Gully virus.
Oh, come on. No. We can't call it that. What if it actually does spread?
That's where it was found.
Okay, but still, what if it actually does spread across the globe? I obviously don't want that knocking on all the wood around me right now because we don't want that. But can you imagine?
He's come down with the Salt Gully.
Exactly.
I got a bad case of the Salt Gully.
No one wants that.
Yeah. Well, that's just one of the many reasons we don't want this to spread or become a problem. But it might not be quite as bad as it sounds.
Okay.
Because this was found. Now, granted, the disease that this is related to, the diseases are very dangerous. It's a type of Henipa virus. It's related to Nipah and Hendra, two other kinds of, they're in the same virus family. Nipah has caused outbreaks with fatality rates between 40 and 70%.
Okay.
That's really bad.
Yeah, that's a high number.
That's real. 70% of people that get it die.
Yikes.
That's worse than COVID.
Yeah, that is way worse. Way worse.
The Hendra virus leads to death in more than half of people who get it. So
what do these viruses, like, what do they do? What's the symptoms? What do they cause?
I don't have that right here in front of me. But, okay, let me get to the good news, though. Because that was all the bad news.
Yeah, that's a lot of bad news.
Jennifer Barr, who is the lead researcher for this, how they found this, she says, now that we've identified this virus, diagnostic tests can be developed, which means if a spillover from bats and disease outbreak were to occur, we'd have the tools to detect the virus earlier, enabling timely measures to prevent the further spread. In other words, this is discovered only in bats. It has not been spilled over to humans whatsoever.
Okay.
And so now that we know about it before it's ever been interacted with humans at all, that should mean that we can at least we'll be prepared to deal with it if it ever were to spill over into humans.
Well, let's hope that never happens. Again, this storyline is sounding all too familiar because we all felt real comfortable.
Yeah. Well, but remember, the coronavirus was discovered in humans first. And we don't even know if it necessarily came from bats, right? Like, I think everybody believes that. But,
yeah, I have no idea. There's a lot of a lot of theories on all of that stuff.
Jennifer Barr also said, and I think this is important too, it's a reminder that viruses can circulate quietly in nature for years without causing disease.
You know, that's so true. There's a lot of stuff that we just never think of because it never, hits our news feed or it's not something that, affects humans or whatever. And
if we're not, it can circulate with these bats.
And we would never know.
If we don't interact with the bats, if the bats aren't biting us, if we're not eating them or, walking into their caves or doing testing on them, then there's not really a easy way for it to transfer over to us.
So no testing on the bats, guys, in Australia.
Well, it's too late. The jig may finally be up for one of the biggest crime syndicates in the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Ticketmaster is being sued by the Federal Trade Commission.
Woo! This is something to celebrate.
Yeah, they're finally being brought down because all the other lawsuits that came against them didn't work. But this one's going to be the one that finally does it.
I mean, it's the FTC. You got to think that they've got a lot of weight behind what they're throwing at Ticketmaster if they're going to sue them.
But then again, there's like 30 years of history of Ticketmaster somehow wriggling out of jam after jam.
Yeah.
Maybe too big to fail, some would say. But here's the deal. This is a pretty darn... it's just a pretty darn bad lawsuit that they are accused of.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody's going to be giving the benefit of the doubt to Ticketmaster on this one. The FTC and attorneys general from 7 states are suing Ticketmaster and its parent company Live Nation for allegedly profiting on fees while turning a blind eye to widespread illegal resale tactics. So the complaint accuses Ticketmaster and Live Nation of duping artists and attendees with low advertised ticket prices and claims of strict ticket purchase limits, even though ticket brokers routinely and substantially exceeded those limits. So customers were forced to buy the same tickets on Ticketmaster's resale platform at a much higher cost than what they could have bought them at originally.
Yeah.
Listen to this. An internal review found that 5 ticket brokers were in control of 6,345 Ticketmaster accounts and had over 246,000 concert tickets to 2,594 events.
My goodness. What a scheme.
Yeah.
What a terrible, terrible scheme. I mean, I think we all knew Ticketmaster had icky business tactics, but just seeing it out like this, like revealed, is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It makes it worse because, it's one thing with all the fees and stuff that they tacked on after the fact that's also named here where it's like, I think they said that fees as high as 44% of the tickets cost, and you wouldn't see that until the very, very end of your checkout. And that's one thing. But for them to, obviously they put the ticket limit purchase or the limits of how many tickets you can purchase for any event. Everybody's seen that, even if you haven't run into where you were trying to buy more than 8.
Right.
But they put that limit in, and that only hurts you or I as individual people, whereas the ticket brokers can have a bajillion accounts, and it's just 8 tickets per account. And so if they can buy all the tickets with all their different accounts, they still have cornered the market.
Right. Their manufacturing price increased by allowing that to happen. So this is all just, it's a scheme. This is like racketeering almost, Like this is just not okay.
It's like the mob,
right?
Basically.
Ticketmaster is the mafia.
I'm telling you, a crime syndicate.
Right.
There's no other, they have no competition. And they're able to just pick everybody, just take advantage of everybody. And there's nothing that us as fans or really that artists can do. Because what are the artists going to do? Sell their tickets somewhere else? There's no other platform that really does it on
this level.
For these massive events.
I've bought tickets a whole bunch through SeatGeek. That was the one I always used. And SeatGeek still had all the same problems where you would put the tickets in and this was the price. But then when you went to check out, it was like double that because of all the fees.
Yeah.
So even the other platforms that are available, they're not much better.
And or the other platforms are just reselling the same tickets that were bought on Ticketmaster. They were already bought up by these 5 accounts or 5 brokers.
Right.
And so they're still making a profit off of all of us. And it's insane. It's out of control. And hopefully this is what takes, honestly, like just burn it to the ground. Start over because this has been a disaster for years.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.